So today I'm going to be going over my journey and how I became a director of marketing at 28. Well, I'm 31 now, but originally I was 28 when I got the job. Now with business, everybody's path is different. There's not really kind of a set course, but there are similar things that you need to do and look out for. So hopefully my path and my journey and my story will give you some tips and some pointers on how to become an executive if that's what your plan is. So going back all the way to high school, the goal was to always be a veterinarian. I know, very different than business, but for whatever reason, I ended up in marketing. So I took a marketing course in high school and did amazing in it. And the reason that I loved it so much is it's a combination of research and numbers, as well as a lot of creativity, which I love, because I think I'm a mixture of both. I couldn't do a pure stats job like accounting. And I also couldn't do a pure creativity job like design. I kind of need a mixture, so this is kind of where I fit in. So I went to university. I got an honors Bachelor of Commerce, and I also got a concentration in marketing, which is just you take a set amount of courses. I believe it was 8, and you needed to get a certain percentage in those courses, and you got a concentration in it. Now I know there are many very successful business owners that do not have any formal education, and that's fine, that's their path. I will always recommend going to university just because for the normal person, for regular people, especially nowadays, most jobs require degrees. It's kind of like a high school diploma nowadays. A degree is kind of the bare minimum for a lot of jobs. Even a lot of them are asking for masters. So I always recommend going to school, but of course there are a bunch of different opportunities and life journeys that take you to somewhere that's very successful without it. So again, this is just my journey, what I did. So after university, right after I graduated, I had my son actually, so I did not start the workforce immediately. But when my son was a little bit older, well, about 1, in the meantime, I was doing kind of like night jobs just to pay our bills. But my first actual marketing job was a marketing coordinator at a print company. There I handled accounts for fragrance and beauty. So like Chanel, Shiseido, all those ads in the mall, the ads that you see in the windows is kind of what I did. So it was more of a project manager than it was in marketing. But it was a small family-owned company. It was only 2 employees. So it was great because I got to learn a lot of things that you wouldn't necessarily learn in a bigger corporation. That would be one of my first suggestions. Try and get a job at a smaller company, especially at the beginning. When you're at a smaller company or a family company, you get to wear a lot of hats. You get to learn a lot of different things outside of your role. Typically in large corporations, your job is your job. You stay in that department, you do that department's job just because there's so many other people that do other positions that they don't need you. But with a smaller company, they have less staff, they need the support, so you get to learn a bunch of things. You got to learn accounting, finance, design, like there's so many different things that you don't necessarily I'm not going to be an accountant in this lifetime, but if I do plan on owning a company in the near future, I need to know the basics of accounting. I need to know if somebody gives me a report that I know how to read it. If somebody tells me what the financial situation of my company is, I will understand it. Just kind of the basics. And that was the plan for me. It was just to learn enough about everything that I can be useful and I can use it towards my future goal of being an entrepreneur. So after a set amount of time there, I got a job in marketing at a geosynthetics company, which I know is very different than beauty and fragrance, roads and dirt and building. But to me, marketing is pretty much the same. It doesn't matter the industry. Your message, your niche, your target audience will change, but the core principles are kind of the same. It doesn't matter what industry that you are in. So in that role, I loved it. Again, it was a family-owned company. It was bigger than the last one. It had about 20 different employees, but it was great. I got to learn a lot about sales in that role. I actually brought on a bunch of accounts and dealt with sales there. But marketing was mine. I got to actually dive in and do everything from website redesigns, all of our social media. Because it was geosynthetics, it wasn't a very online ad social media industry, so I got to kind of create everything from scratch and build it to be my own, which is amazing again because I got to learn everything. I never really had a mentor per se or somebody to be like, okay, you need to do this, this, and this. So everything that I've learned and everything that I've done is through trial and error. So this was the perfect role for that. One of my skills that I am actually, something that I'm really good at, is I get things done. If somebody gives me a task, even if I'm not 100% knowledgeable in it, I always figure out a way to get it done. And that's kind of what's gotten me to this point, is I figure it out. I learn quickly. I do whatever it takes to get done. I'm not too good for anything. I'm not too smart for anything. I'll figure it out. I'll do it. At the end of the day, we're just trying to get to the goal. It doesn't matter who does what. Let's just get to the goal. That's my mentality there. So that's kind of what I did there. That company was then bought out by a company in the US, and they really, really liked what I was doing. So they flew me out a few times to get to talk to them, to talk to their business, see what they were doing, and they really wanted to bring me on. It was a great idea and everything was going well. The only issue is they weren't willing to match the money that I required. I've been there for a set amount of time. I've done this set amount of work. So I was requesting a certain salary. They could not match it. So that is how I got to the position that I am now. So all of this, during that entire position, I was doing a lot of freelance social media. One, because single mom in debt, I'm trying to pay bills, and two, to build my experience in my portfolio. One of the roles, one of the contracts that I had, one of the directors was actually my boss now. He's the CEO of this company, and there was a position available, and end communication let him know that I was starting to look, and then it just was a perfect match, and that is how I became a director at 28. So he had seen my work for a set amount of time. I had met him a number of times. He saw that I was very ambitious, and he thought that I would be perfect for the role, and I love the company now where I am. Again, family-owned company, but I love it. Like I said, I get to do so much more than marketing, as well as marketing, which keeps my role interesting and exciting. I work with department budgets. I manage employees. I do graphic design. I do ads in print, radio, online, social media, organize events for 1,000+ people, attend trade shows. There's so many kind of different aspects to marketing that make it interesting. I know a lot of people are like, oh, what's marketing? Like, you design ads or something, which advertising is part of it, but it's so big, and there's so many different avenues. And again, depending on your company or industry, there might be more, there might be less. So it kind of keeps it really exciting and challenging. So currently that's what I'm doing. I'm a director of marketing, and then I have also started my own kind of brand and platform. So I started Get It Together Babe. It's on Instagram at getittogetherbabe. And the idea there is more budgeting, career advice, lifestyle. I've paid a little around $150,000 worth of debt off on my own. So I kind of give tips and tricks on what I did, different ideas of people how to get their life kind of together, just because I had to dig myself out of a hole and figure out life. And of course I still have a long way to go, but if I can save people the time and the pain from learning on their own and give them some tips and advice, that's the plan. So I have some worksheets and some downloadables there, but then I'm also really focusing on my YouTube. I'm hoping this takes off. Very similar. I'm going to be talking about careers, different budgeting, lifestyle, just things that I've kind of done and used to figure out how to be an adult, any tips and tricks, hauls, dollar store finds, kind of things like that. So if you're interested in that, then make sure you subscribe, like, comment if you have any particular ideas or what you want to see. Let me know. I know in my last video someone was suggesting that I do a grocery haul or take them along, because I was doing how to budget your groceries. I have a worksheet for that. But I will be filming something where I take you guys with me to the grocery store. I do most of my shopping online, but I do sometimes go to the store. So when I do, I'll take you guys with me, just to let you know kind of what brands I go for, how I save money, just tips and tricks like that. So if you're interested in learning more, please make sure to subscribe. And until next week, have a great week, guys. Bye.